We are in our final days of Big Brother 26 with only a few weeks left in the season. But there's still some surprising gameplay and still a few ways that the frontrunners could get cut. There's going to be a couple of things to go over today, including the Veto results and the likely target for the week. But before we get into all that, please make sure you hit the subscribe button below if you have not already. I know that Big Brother is winding down soon, but there is still a decent amount of game left to play. Plus, I cover other reality shows like Survivor here on my channel from time to time too. So once again, please make sure you're subscribed as we cap off this wonderful season. Now, let's begin. So when we last left off, Makensy was the HOH, and she had decided to nominate Kimo and Rubina, with Kimo being her target. Once again, Kimo didn't really fight hard to stay off the block, but Rubina had at least tried to save her game a little bit by throwing Chelsie under the bus. It's just that Chelsie was able to swiftly block any and every attempt that Rubina was throwing her way, so alas, Kimo and Rubina remained on the block together. Now, after they were both nominated, Kimo and Rubina did at least try strategizing with each other a little bit. It seems like they acknowledge that Chelsie is the one to beat in the game, and it seems like they know that in a perfect world, they would be able to do something to get her out. But I just don't know if they have the ability to really make anything happen this late in the game. Chelsie has MJ and Cam wrapped around her finger pretty tight at this point, but hey, at least Kimo and Rubina are starting to think of the game a little bit abstractly. Meanwhile, Chelsie and Makensy have continued to spend a lot of time together. They're kind of bonding as being the last two comp beasts left standing, and they've started to notice just how useless their third ally Cam has really been. They don't like the fact that he sucks at most of the competitions. They don't like that he hasn't been able to win any power in order to ensure their safety. And now they're getting just a little bit annoyed that he's been able to make it all the way to the end with pretty much no blood on his hands.
I'm just confused at how bad he is.
Maybe I think he's physical, but I really do wonder if mentally he's just like not there.
But he knows all of the days like the back of his hand.
They even think that he's been throwing some of these comps on purpose to avoid making decisions in the game. So right now they are really concerned about Cam's loyalty and they want him to win something soon.
That's what I was like, where is your head at in this game, Cam?
I don't think he knows.
And I'm just like, and he's like, well, he's like, I'm not ready to make one, like a singular decision for myself until it's like us three. And I was like, you do know anything can happen though. Like, you need to consider all possibilities.
And all of this just makes it so much crazier that when the feeds come back after the veto, we see that Makensy has won yet again. But not only did Makensy win, apparently Cam did worse than everybody and came in last place. But not only did Cam come in last place, apparently, according to him, he got so tired during this competition that he actually stopped to take a break and he ended up timing out. Yikes. Now Chelsie and MJ are even more annoyed with Cam to the point where they actually start flirting with this idea of putting him on the block just to scare him a little bit.
It would be a game move for like me to help my game in that as a team, we should not be afraid of that, you know?
Yeah.
And he was like, well, I just don't know. And I was like, I'm not saying it's going to happen.
Yeah.
I don't want to use it, obviously. I said, but I'm just considering all options since I cannot play HOH next week.
This plan is so gratuitous, so unnecessary if they don't actually want him to leave. Like, all it's going to do is really hurt him at this point, but hey, go off, I guess. Now, eventually, Chelsie does give Cam the heads up that Makensy is seriously thinking about putting him on the block. And this conversation is enough to get Cam to get up to go talk it over with MJ, where basically he's just reconfirming his loyalty here and telling her that he really does want to take her, Makensy, to the end. Which is totally not true, by the way. I really do think that Cam would take that shot at Makensy pretty soon if given the chance. It's just that Makensy doesn't need to know all that. But overall, this conversation with MJ is enough to ease her mind for now.
I more so am thinking about winning this HOH.
Rob.
And I'm thinking about best case scenario of y'all two winning the veto.
That's
I'm
true.
not saying that I'm not going to think about that.
No, yeah.
Any of that, but I'm saying I want to wishful think instead of worst case scenario of even Rubina winning HOH. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So when the feeds come back on after the veto ceremony, we see that Kimo and Rubina do indeed remain on that block. This means that for the first time, literally all season long, the veto has not been used. It looks like we'll officially be saying bye to either Kimo or Rubina this week, which is fitting because these two just did not fight hard enough for their safety, if you ask me. Rubina did at least try to throw Chelsie under the bus a little bit earlier in the week, which I appreciated. But overall, these two have mostly just been sitting ducks on the block, and I hate that for them. As of now, Kimo is still the most likely person to go home. Even though neither of them are really seen as super great comp threats, I think that Kimo is still the slightly better competitor than Rubina.
Even in an endurance thing, like Kimo beat her in whatever BB comics.
Yeah.
So she's weaker without him, and she's gonna feel 1 against 3.
That's what I was telling him.
Which is gonna cause her to feel way more pressure.
Yeah.
Kimo's super fan in him will cause him to shift in a different gear, just like he did during double eviction.
He's also probably more of an overall jury threat than Rubina, especially with people like Quinn and Angela and T-Kor they are riding for him. So that's all I have for you today. It's looking like our final 4 of Chelsie, Cam, MJ, and Rubina will all be facing off together next week. If that is the case, here are just some of my final 4 predictions. Since MJ will not be able to compete in the next HOH, my best guess is that Chelsie is going to be the one to pull out this win, just because, statistically speaking, she is the best competitor left standing. But of course, we all know that the most power next week truly lies with the veto holder, because they will have the sole choice on who to truly evict. That winner is going to be a lot harder to predict since everybody's going to be gunning for that one. But again, if we're just thinking about statistics and who is the better overall competitor so far, I still feel like it's going to either be Makensy or Chelsie to pull out that win. But even that is definitely not solidified at all, though. Technically, anything could happen as we head towards this finale. So of course, I want to know, who do you think will take home the win this season? I still think Chelsie looks like the biggest threat to win this whole game, but at this point, her dominance is starting to get a little bit obvious. So the question is, will anybody have the vision to take her out? Let me know in the comments below. I cannot wait to keep talking to y'all as we begin to end this wild season. Of course, I'll be back here to update you all if there are any other big changes in the game. But until then, bye.